Well, welcome to Online Corona School. So today we're going to be talking about section 4.2, which is divisibility. So at this point, if you haven't watched or looked at the PowerPoint to check all the divisibility rules, stop watching the video now and go back and look at the PowerPoint so you can actually write down all the rules for divisibility. I'm going to do the very first example on our page, which is to look at the divisibility rules for 834, 125, 250, 320. So I'll briefly be talking about the rules as I go along, but I'm not going to go into the great detail, so that's why you should go look at the PowerPoint first. So with this one, the first thing we want to check is divisibility by 2. So for 2, all you have to do is check and see if the number is even. So since it ends in a 0, that means it's an even number. So yes, it is divisible by 2. Divisibility by 3 means we need to add up all the digits, and if that number is divisible by 3, then our number is divisible by 3. So we're going to do 8 plus 3 plus 4 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 2 plus 5 plus 0 plus 3 plus 2 plus 0. And I'm going to throw this into my trusty calculator real quick. Which looks like it equals 35, which is not divisible by 3, so this is a no. And then divisibility by 4, what you have to do is look at the last 2 digits, and if the last 2 digits are divisible by 4, then the whole number is divisible by 4, and since 20 divided by 4 gives us 5, then this would be a yes. Divisibility by 5 means if it ends in a 0 or a 5, so since this ends in a 0, this is a yes. Divisibility by 8 means that if you look at the last 3 digits, then if the last 3 digits are divisible by 8, then the whole number is divisible by 8. So since 8 divided by 320 would give us 40, this would be a yes. Divisibility by 9 is pretty much the same thing as divisibility by 3, just add all the digits up, and if 9 divides that number, then it's divisible, but since 9 doesn't divide 35, this would be a no. So divisibility by 10 means that if the number ends in a 0, it's divisible by that number. So in this case, since it ends in a 0, we get a yes. So now the last 3, divisibility by 7, 11, and 13, these are by far the trickiest ones that we have to actually work with. So divisibility by 7, what we've got to do is take the last digit, multiply it by 2, and then subtract it from the remaining number. But what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do this a bunch of times to get this number down small enough that we can actually tell whether it's divisible by 7 or not. So let me rewrite this number. Let me scroll down to give myself some room here. So we'll do 7. So this is going to take a lot of steps. So 834, 125, 250, 320. So in this case, we're going to multiply 0 by 2, which isn't going to give us anything. And so we're going to subtract 0. So we're basically just going to get rid of the 0. So now that we've got a 2, we're going to multiply that 2 by 2 to get 4. So that gets rid of that 2. And so now we're going to subtract 4 from what the numbers that are remaining. So this will turn this into a 9, a 13. So 9, 9, 5, 2, 5, 2, 1, 4, 3, 8. So now again, multiply the 9 by 2, give us 18. And so we want to subtract that from the remaining numbers. So 1, 4, 2, 5, 2, 1, 4, 3, 8. So now we've got a 1, multiply that by 2, subtract from the remaining. So 2, 2, 5, 2, 1, 4, 3, 8. Told you this is going to take a long time. So we have another 2, so multiply that by 2 to get 4. So 12 minus 4 is 8. Bring down the 4, 2, 1, 4, 3, 8. So now we've got an 8, multiply that by 2 to get 16. So 8, 0, 1, 4, 3, 8. So another 8, multiply this by 2 to get 16. Let's see, 9, 3, 3, 8. So now multiply by 4 by 2 to get 8. 8, 3, 3, 1. So now multiply the 1 by 2 to get a 2. So 8, 3, 1. Multiply the 1 by 2 to get a 2. So finally we've got 81. And unfortunately 7 doesn't divide into 81 evenly. So after all this work, we get a big no for 7. So I told you that one's a tough one. So now let's look at 11. It's slightly easier. So 11, what we want to do is actually similar to 9, but instead of adding them straight up, what we're going to do is end up alternating the signs, plus, minus, plus, minus. So I'm going to write this out with a little bit of space in between each one of them, so I can add the signs in. So in this case, we start with a plus and then a minus. So we're actually starting on the right and kind of working our way to the left. So plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus. And then again, either using your calculator or just kind of simplifying as we go along. So in this case, negative 8 plus 3 would be negative 5. Negative 5 minus 4 would be negative 9. Plus 1 would be a negative 8. Then negative 10. Negative 5. Negative 7. Negative 2. Plus 1. Minus 2 would be negative 1. And since 11 doesn't divide negative 1. This is also a no. And then finally by 13. So this one's similar to divisible by 7, but in this case we're going to multiply the last number by 4 and add it instead of subtracting. So again, let me start with the number. So again, multiplying the last number by 4 just gives us 0. In this case, we're going to add it, so it doesn't really change anything. It just knocks the last number off. So now we're going to multiply 4 times 2 to get 8. And again, in this case, we're adding. So 1, 1, 5, 2, 5, 2, 1, 4, 3, 8. So now we're going to multiply 1 by 4 to get a 4. So we add, we get 5, 5, 2, 5, 2, 1, 4, 3, 8. So multiply 5 times 4 to get 20. 5, 4, 5, 2, 1, 4, 3, 8. So we've got another 5, multiply that by 4 to get 20. 4, 7, 2, 1, 4, 3, 8. So multiply 4 times 4 to get 16. 3, 4, 1, 4, 3, 8. So multiply 4 times 3 to get 12. 2, 4, 8. Multiply 6 times 4 to get 24. Multiply 6 times 4 again to get another 24. So again, we've got 0, so multiplying that by 4 is just going to give us plus 0. So 86, so in this case, does 86 go into 13? Let's check. So 86 does not divide into 13 evenly, so again we get a no for that one. So I know that's a lot to kind of look at, so definitely go through and review it. So on the next page, what I've got is a bunch for you guys to actually try, and so what I want you to do is go into the collaboration space and actually put your own answers in there so we can kind of check each other's work as we're going along and see how we do. And then if you go to the very end of this document, there's some try these, so there's a little quiz at the end that you guys could try just to make sure you got all of your answers correct. So definitely if you have any questions or anything like that, just let me know, and good luck.